got one major goal right now, and that's to win the Super Bowl. And couldn't miss week 1.
Looks like Zeke couldn't wait to get out to the practice field. Back on Wednesday, he is in the fold, signed, sealed, ready to deliver. And we're getting you set for the Cowboys and the Giants 3:25 kickoff Sunday afternoon at AT&T Stadium. Welcome to Cowboys Special Edition. Bill Jones with Nate Newton, Rick Gosselin, and Darryl Johnston joins the show this week. He's got his sleeves all rolled up, ready to head to Carolina for the Rams and the Panthers. Welcome, Darryl.
I thought it was casual opener. I did. Somebody must have sent another email. My jacket is sitting home on the kitchen counter.
There you go. And so we are getting you set for Cowboys and Giants, and we're going to kick things off talking about the big news of this week because everyone sort of set that deadline, and these things are driven by the deadline a lot of times. Wednesday, first practice, the game plan gets installed for the Giants, and sure enough, Zeke was there. Nate, let's start with you. What was your reaction to the Zeke signing?
I was excited, Bill. I was excited it was here because for the first time, I think this team has depth at the backup position, and they got all its stars in place. It may have cost them a pretty penny, but Zeke, glad you're here, my man.
Yeah, I think short term, it's really good. I mean, this team is capable of going to the Super Bowl with Elliott on the field. Long term, there could be some problems. I mean, you've got 7 players making, $550 million, half that's guaranteed. This roster is getting top heavy, much like what we saw in the Super Bowl era, when guys like Nate Newton finished their career wearing a Carolina Panther uniform. No middle class.
Yeah, that's me, baby.
And that's what happens when it's the depth that Nate talked about. I mean, it's so hard at that time to get everybody signed. And that was the mission coming in. You know, they've got the big trifecta that they wanted to get signed, but they also said we're not going to set the market at any one of these positions. But they've gone out and set the running back market. What does that do for Dak Prescott? You've got Jared Goff setting the market at the quarterback position now. Amari Cooper. I mean, there's some things that need to get done. There was a window when Dak and Ezekiel were rookies, and now we've got another window shrinking it even more with the finances that Rick's talking about.
And we'll get more into that as we go along here over the course of the next half hour here on Special Edition. But as it relates to this game against the Giants, what can we expect out of Ezekiel Elliott Sunday afternoon? What do you think, Darryl?
I think the one big unknown is it's not consistent with what was going on last year. So he didn't get any training camp with Kellen Moore and the new offense that's being installed. So how much does that impact this? How similar is what Kellen Moore is going to do as an offensive coordinator compared to Scott Linehan last season? That'll be the big question of how familiar this offense is for him. But he drives your offense. You got to get whatever he's comfortable with, get him as much as he can.
A minimum of 22 to 25 snaps. I don't deal in reps, I deal in snaps. If he feels good and running good, I mean, he's been in Cabo for 6 weeks, running in the sand. If he takes 30 carries, let's go, Zeke. 15 mil.
You're saying touches?
Touches.
25 touches.
Yeah. I mean, put the ball in his hand and let him run into somebody.
When he gets 20 carries, 100 yards, they win. This Sunday, look for 20 carries, 100 yards.
All right, we're just getting started here on Special Edition. It's not all about Zeke, but a lot of it's about Zeke this week. And we continue with more. And how about Dak Prescott and Jason Garrett as they go into their contract years?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today.
Well, it's great to be here on the floor of the Exchange. Probably fitting, we're playing New York this weekend, but it's great to have that 21 Zeke Elliott bag. But I am about $100 million lighter. But we are glad to have him carrying the ball.
Back on Wednesday morning, Jerry Jones ringing the bell on Wall Street as Ezekiel Elliott was headed out to the practice field after signing his contract extension of 6 years, $90 million, $50 million guaranteed. Lots of reaction in the locker room and elsewhere. Let's hear some of it.
I think both. I was definitely really anxious, because I definitely wanted to be here for the start of the season. But I'm happy it got done when it did, and I'm glad I was able to rejoin my teammates and start the season with them.
Yeah, just great to have him back. He was here this morning for the Breakfast Club meeting at 7:30 and went through the walkthrough and anticipated him practicing today. So he's been a big part of our team, and we're excited to have him back in the fold.
I think it's immediate. I think, we talked when he wasn't around that things move on. You got to live with what you have, but you certainly want him out there. And so the fact that we have him back and we can have him out there, I think that we're all excited to see him back on the field and doing his thing. And I know for a fact that he's excited to be back out there. You see him, he looks great. He's been training, he's been working. It's not like he's just been sitting around. So, I imagine he's ready. I also imagine that people are smart, and you may not see him, carry the ball 50 times in the game, but that's not my decision to make. I'm sure there's some sort of balance there.
All a part of the plan. That's how I look at it. Happy to have him here. Now it's time to go get a win. We thought we knew he was going to do what was best for him. You know what I mean? And it's just business. That's all it was. And I'm happy to see him get his contract. And that's my brother, so it's a great thing to be able to play with him.
Calls, texts. One of my teammates told me, don't come back without a deal. Just support like that from this group of guys it meant everything. And it would definitely have been harder if things were the opposite.
Yeah, obviously excited. Again, Zeke's been a big part of our team. He's so well respected by everybody in our organization. He's been a really important player for us. So it's great to get him back in here. I know they were working hard on it last night. I was in those conversations. And then, this morning we woke up early and we found out the news and we got him in here, and he's had a good day so far.
Like I said, he brings a certain amount of energy to the group, and we're excited to have him back. So I think that's the sort of lift that he brings. We have full confidence in Alfred and Tony. Those guys are great runners too. I've been on record before saying that I think Alfred's one of the best zone runners in the game, potentially ever in the game. So we're fortunate to have him in the room and working with Tony, and he's a bright young star that can hit the holes and make explosive plays. So we're just really lucky as an offensive line to have a running back room that strong across the board.
Always distractions when you play for America's team. But Coach does a great job at allowing us to, really hound in on what we need to focus on.
So Zeke ready to go, and now Dak Prescott, the Cowboys quarterback. There hasn't been focus on his contract throughout the preseason, but this last week, Jared Goff, an extension for him, 4 years, $134 million, $110 million guaranteed. Where do you think things sit with Dak as far as his contract as we head into the season now?
Well, it kind of goes back to what we talked about in the last segment. You didn't want to set the market at any of these positions. Could you get all three of them signed with fair contracts? Now that Ezekiel has gone out and set that running back market, Dak's going to there's going to be conversations about him setting the quarterback market. And it all comes down to the future that Rick talked about. How does this pan out 3 years from now, 4 years from now? That's going to be the hard part.
You know what? Steven is a little more rigid. Mr. Stephen Jones is a little more rigid than Dad. So as long as Steven can have his say so, I think they can fit Dak in. Now, like I say, Rick has some solid numbers, but they need these three guys, Amari Cooper, Zeke, and Dak. How do you fit them? My mind don't go that far. I never saw that type of money, so my mind don't even wrap around it.
Yeah, I think a league that the Cowboys no favors. The Carson Wentz contract, the Kirk Cousins contract, now the Jared Goff contract. These guys aren't Breeze, Brady, and Rodgers. And now Dak's going to get paid money like he's Breeze, Brady, or Rodgers. But, like Nate said, it's got to get done. You need the quarterback. He's the most important piece of the puzzle.
All right, we preview Cowboys and Giants, the 3:25 kickoff at AT&T Stadium. And I wonder if Nate can wrap his mind around the contract that Lyle Collins signed this week.
Yes, I can.
You'd love to wrap your arms around it.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Welcome back to Cowboys Special Edition. Cowboys and the Giants, the season opener at AT&T Stadium. Big news for contract signings, and not just Zeke signing, but also the starting right tackle, Lyle Collins. Let's hear from him.
I just always, I'm a firm believer in, you go to work, you handle your business, you do everything that they ask of you. They see that. And for me, I feel like that was just something that I could control everything I can, just go to work every day and, figure the time will come. It meant everything. I know this is where I want to live after football. I want to retire here, and that makes things a whole lot easier. And just great for me and my family to be able to have this moving forward, and for me to also stay here with my teammates and continue to build something that we've been building. Yeah, that day was special for me. So I think just looking back on it and everything that's up to this point, how it's been nothing but special for me.
And that?
Probably a week and a half before, just when we started talking, and I just knew that, I felt real confident that something was going to get done because I knew I wanted to be here and I knew how much it meant. So, I'm happy that we just got it done. I figured it was going to happen too. I just had a good feeling that Zeke was going to be here, and he is now. So, now we get to, get rolling.
5-year, $50 million extension, $35 million guaranteed, one of the top 3 paid right tackles in the NFL, Lyle Collins. We dive into Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants when Special Edition continues in a moment.
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
Touchdown, Dallas. A decent way to start a Monday night. Touchdown! Marion Barber, what a run. Now, Manning in trouble. Look at that face.
Eli Manning and the Giants have had their moments in season openers at AT&T Stadium here against the Cowboys. For the 6th time in the last 7 years, Cowboys play their home opener against the Giants. Bill Jones, Rick Gosselin, Darryl Johnston, Nate Newton. We dive into the Giants now. And, of course, when you think New York Giants, you think Saquon Barkley, who had over 2,000 yards rushing and receiving last year. But other than Saquon, let's start with you, Goose. What is it that should scare the Cowboys about the Giants offensively?
Tight end Evan Ingram. I think the Giants are going to button it down. They're going to play a ball control offense. The ball is going to go inside to Barkley and Ingram. They want to play low-scoring games to protect that defense. So I think you're going to see a lot of Barkley, a lot of Evan Ingram.
I think the big thing that we have to remember here is this is year 2 with this system for Pat Shurmur as the head coach and then James Bethel as the defensive coordinator. So you've heard a lot of our guys talk about the youth and the experience and getting comfortable in the systems, and that's exactly what the Giants are going to be. So maybe not one player specifically, but the whole team being in their second year and understanding it a little bit more, having the regular season last year, the off season to kind of work out some of the kinks.
And of course, they've got Eli Manning at quarterback. They drafted Daniel Jones out of Duke with the 6th pick in the draft. At the wide receiver position, Nate, Golden Tate serving a suspension. Sterling Shepard had a fractured thumb the first day of practice in training camp, but he's not on the injury report this week.
And where will he fit? Is he ready to be the #1 receiver? Like Lou said, this is their second year into a new offensive coach and coordinator. Can he come out and be a decent threat for the New York Giants? I hope not.
Odell Beckham Jr., of course, has moved on to Cleveland. All right, let's flip it over to defense. They don't have Olivier Vernon. He was traded away to Cleveland. Landon Collins is now a Washington Redskin. Who are they on defense, Rick?
Well, you remember when this defense had Olivier Vernon, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Snacks Harrison? That defensive line was to be feared. I can't even name the 4 stars in defensive line these days.
Their fierce leader would be Alex Ogletree. They got him from the Rams a couple of years ago. He's the guy that have to be the glue to this organization. I don't think that this team is ready.
Well, to that point, they've got Dexter Lawrence, first-round draft pick out of Clemson, a big defensive tackle in there, but this is his first NFL game.
Yeah, and I still think you can go back to draft and Ed Oliver sitting there, you know, as he dropped, and the Giants decide to go quarterback instead of Ed Oliver. So I think that's going to be interesting to watch those two guys as they go through their rookie year. Who would have been the better pick for the Giants at that point?
This team was built on defensive linemen. I mean, you thinking the New York Giants are outside linebackers and defensive linemen, and they don't have that guy. That's why I don't think they're ready.
Well, and they do have Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins, and he will take chances, won't he?
They'll find a way, and I think Rick is exactly right. When you're going through this transition, you know, the one thing you want to do is you want to control the game with your star, which is Saquon. So limit the mistakes. It's going to be scaled down. Keep your defense off the field. We're trying to figure out a game changer on that side of the ball. If there's not, just keep them off the field, and you don't have to go back too far. I mean, that's what New England did to the Rams in the Super Bowl. Control the clock, keep that offense off the field, and then take your best shot.
Yeah, the Giants in their team hotel watching us right now, they've got plenty of fodder from this segment to motivate them at 3:25 on Sunday. We have more special edition when we come back in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T, more for your thing, that's our thing. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Season opener against the New York Giants. 3:25 kickoff at AT&T Stadium. Final segment here of Special Edition. 4-down territory. On first down, we're going to Goose Gosselin. How can this Dallas defense be better this season?
Well, Bill, we know this defense can tackle. They finished 6th in the league last year in defense. What they need is plays, sacks, takeaways. In the Super Bowl era, the champion has averaged 43 sacks and 31 takeaways. Last year, the Cowboys were 39 sacks, 20 takeaways. They needed a market improvement. If they can get into the mid-40s, even pushing 50 sacks, I think the takeaway is going to be there, and this team can go to the Super Bowl.
In this Kellen Moore offense, we're using the fullback this year, and we've got Darryl Johnston on second down. Darryl, how can this offense be better?
Well, I think the one big thing that jumps out to me right now is Amari Cooper is going to be there the whole offseason into the regular season. The impact that he had on that offense last year coming in when he did shows the value he has there. But the one specific area I want to see them get better in is red zone scoring. They were one of 4 teams under 50% last season. They've got to get better there. They move the ball down the field, but they're not scoring touchdowns. They got to get that fixed. We saw a little bit of up and down in the preseason, so where are they once the regular season starts?
All right, it's now 3rd down, and it's time to talk offensive line with Nate. Connor Williams, your starting left guard. How much does Connor Williams, the pride of Coppell, Texas, have to prove this season?
It ain't so much that he got to prove a lot, Bill, but what I need for Connor to do, he's gained 15 to 20 pounds. He's looked good in training camp, but he's got to be consistent, play after play. His foundation is good. His legs has gotten bigger. He's stronger. But if he can improve with his run blocking and pass blocking, then those 3rd downs that we're talking about, those short yardage and those red zones, we can start running the ball straight up the middle with Zeke. And, oh, yeah, Frederick's back. That's going to be a big help for Connor.
All right, our game clock is approaching the 1-minute mark here, and so we're going to go around the horn. Gut feeling against the Giants. What do the Cowboys need to do? And perhaps a score prediction. Goose, let's start with you.
I like the Cowboys 31-13. I think the Cowboys are Super Bowl ready with Zeke back on fold, and the Giants are not Super Bowl ready.
Yeah, I think the emotion that they're going to have having Ezekiel back, that was such an unknown the whole course of preseason, and to get that resolved before the opener is huge.
Play hard, play smart. Jimmy Johnson always said, if you're better than the team, just go out and play hard, play smart, win it by 1 point. Let's get ready for the next game.
So you're predicting a 1-point win?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's
all right.
by all 16 games by 1. Okay, I'm letting you know.
So you've got a 16-0 record,
That's
all
right,
1-point win.
That's right. Okay. I love it.
Nate, would you like to go out on a limb and predict where the Cowboys are going to wind up this season? You know, that Super Bowl is in Miami, Florida this year.
It is, and I would like to be there, fellas, but you know what? I'm liking the Saints, man.
Oh, you got the Saints coming out of the NFC. Yeah. I know And Rick Gosselin, 47th year covering the NFL, and you got who winning the Super Bowl?
I got the winner of the NFC East going to the Super Bowl, whether it's Dallas or Philadelphia. Whichever one wins East, I think that's the team.
But you like those Kansas City Chiefs too, right?
I love the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs and Chargers at the top of my power poll.
All right, and Darryl's got the Rams and the Panthers this week. Enjoy your football Sunday, and we will see you again next week here on Special Edition.